everybody. We've got Cody Williams, KJ Simpson. We'll go ahead and open up for questions.
Cody, when you saw the first three go down, how good did that feel, just given some of the shooting struggles you had in your first two games back from the injury?
Oh, yeah. I just said, I wasn't really struggling. It's just, different, coming off a wrist injury. Game reps are different than, just shooting and practice reps. So I knew it would come around. Just got to keep shooting it. My teammates trusted me, found me the ball, gave me an open look, and I was able to knock it down.
KJ, how much did you guys feel like this needed to be a kind of a statement performance against the team that hadn't lost yet in the Pac-12 and just kind of protecting home court as you guys have done so far throughout the season?
Yeah, obviously, that road trip kind of, was a lot for us, a lot mentally. And we just had to stress, we can't be that team. And the thing with this conference is, you look all around, teams are getting beat. Everybody's capable of beating anybody on any given night. So we can't pay attention to where we are in standings and the team that we're playing and, focus, they're undefeated. We have to just go in and approach them as any other team. And I think, these practices that we were having, we were really mentally locked in on defense and just ready to go out there and get a win on our home court.
Cody, held the game tonight, career high 23 points. What's the process been like for you, obviously with the wrist injury during it and since, kind of just getting your body and mind right back to have, nights like tonight?
I think the biggest thing is just when I was injured, just staying locked in. It's hard, especially when you're not able to practice. You got to watch, staying in shape, still getting form shooting. I think, the biggest thing was just staying locked in. And then I knew, coming back, it'd be a little bit of rust, kind of get a feel for the game. And, tonight I just felt like it really clicked. So just staying the course and trusting my coaches and my teammates, that kind of helped me get going.
KJ, this was a real kind of back and forth game of runs tonight. They had a 1-point lead about halfway through the second half. What did you guys do that final 10 minutes, obviously, to pull away and take this one down the stretch?
Just get stops. Obviously, when we knew it wasn't going to be easy. Oregon's, playing a lot of great basketball right now. A credit to them. They have really good pieces to that team, great coaching staff. So we knew coming in it was going to be a battle, but we couldn't get down on ourselves. We just, when the timeouts and the huddles at free throws, we're just stressing, we got to play defense. And, no matter what happened on offense, as long as we guarded and got stops and ran in transition, that's when things started to open up for us.
KJ, kind of piggybacking off of that, you alluded to how it's been kind of an up and down couple weeks. How reassuring is it for you that every time that they kind of came back and made it a game, I mentioned they took a lead in the second half, that you guys were able to respond and kind of pull away?
It's great. It's great to feel. Obviously, it doesn't surprise me much because I expect that from us. We have the talent on this team to pull that off, and we've done it a lot, this year so far. But it does feel good, it does feel good, and we just have to, stress and carry that over to other games, when stuff's not kind of going our way in that moment. It's just a moment we got to keep playing.
KJ, you guys had 24 points off their 13 turnovers. You and Tristan both had kind of a strip and then a layup at the other end. How big are those plays for momentum when you guys are able to turn defense into offense so quickly, in the second half there?
Huge. We're a team that likes to get out and run and transition, and if we could get teams to, turn over the ball and run and play at our pace, sky's the limit for us. That's how we want to play. That's what coach stresses, and I think that's when stuff started to open up for us. We started to really lock in on defense, and when we're running, that's just basketball. That's just getting stops and running. That's how we want to play.
JJ, what's it going to take to make sure you guys have that same mentality of it's just one play, keep that short-term memory loss when the crowd's not going for y'all, take that onto the road?
Just looking at these games, obviously we want to have short-term memory, we have a quick turnaround, but at the same time you want to, look at these games and show that we are capable of doing it. It'd be one thing if we didn't go out there and show it, but we showed that we're more than capable of doing it, so there's no excuse.
Cody, those first couple games after you came back, did you feel a little rusty, maybe a little out of sync, and then today was there a different kind of comfort level at all?
I'd say just getting back into the groove of it. Coming back after being out for 5-6 weeks and then coming and playing a game. Just takes a little bit to get back into the flow, but it's really easy when you got a whole bunch of great players, surrounding you. Makes it easier for you to kind of get back acclimated into the system, and then I was able to just go out there and hoop.
Cody, do you see what Jalen did tonight against Salt Lake City?
I didn't. What time did they play? I think they played at the same time.
Yeah, they beat the Jazz tonight. He had 11 in the fourth quarter, 27 in the game.
Yeah, 27? He beat me. Oh, that's embarrassing. No, I'm gonna go for sure after this. I'm going to go watch the highlights, but I'm not shocked. He's been doing that for a while, so just another great game by him.
Anything else for the players? Okay, we're good.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Oh, everything starts hurting.
Note of interest real quick for everybody. Colorado shot 50% for the 10th time this season. That's the most in one season since the 14-15 team also had 10 in 34 games. Hey, Lauren. Where's Lauren? Where's Lauren? Hey everybody, we've got head coach Tad Boyle. Coach, would you please start with an opening statement? We'll open up for questions.
Yeah, really a good win over a quality team, quality coach, quality program. Got a lot of respect for Oregon. They came in here 5-0, and I was looking at the numbers today, game day, especially these 8:30 tips. You got a lot of time to look at numbers. But it's not like they've been dominating people. They've just been grinding and winning close games, and we knew they were going to make a run in the second half. Didn't like the way we started the second half, especially offensively. turning the ball over our first 4 possessions. But our guys really had a lot of grit tonight, showed a lot of grit and a lot of toughness and a lot of competitiveness. And I know that that's what this team is made of, and they showed it tonight when they had to. They bowed their backs when they took the lead, and we just kept battling and had some really good performances individually. And, I thought Luke O'Brien off the bench was terrific. Javon Hadley just battled his tail off. KJ and Cody was terrific tonight. Eddie obviously fought foul trouble. But really a good win for us.
Tad, you mentioned that you expected Cody to find his shot after coming back from the wrist injury.
Yeah.
Third game back, and tonight he makes the most threes he has in a game this season.
Yeah.
I mean, how good can you guys be when he does what he does tonight?
Yeah, and the thing about Cody, like all his shots tonight were great shots, I really felt like. And, I think people are starting to play him as a driver a little bit because he's a good driver, obviously, and we want him to drive the ball and be aggressive. He made a really nice drive and dish in the first half to Eddie, dumped it off. And obviously when he makes the three, I've been watching him in practice and shooting, and he's starting to come now. So, again, 4 or 5 weeks out of the lineup is tough for anybody, especially a freshman, but he's showing what he's made of. He's a special player, and he's a great teammate. That's the thing. If Cody came in here trying to get his and trying to, take over the team, he's really blended in well, and our players appreciate that, and he appreciates them. It's a good mix right now. I thought Javon Hadley's minutes, people don't talk about him enough in terms of the little things that he does for our team. Moving the ball, sharing the ball. He made some really nice plays tonight. Got to the foul line. Guards every single night. Competes every single night. I can't say enough about that kid too.
Seems like
Y'all are a team that rides momentum pretty well.
Yeah.
When a few times tonight the bench came in and the momentum slowed down a little bit, what do you need to see out of the bench a little more?
Well, they just got to be ready when their number's called. And, like Luke, I thought Luke's minutes tonight were great. Julian's still working himself back into the groove. He did some good things. He just didn't finish, I said it on the radio, like we've had 5 turnovers this year. We've stepped out of bounds on the sideline or the corner of the court. And like those are the things we got to get rid of, like just the mental stuff. Like the physical stuff's going to be fine, and Julian's a good player, and he's gonna play himself back into shape, and we're gonna need him at times. Tonight, he wasn't at his best, but KJ played well, Cody played well. It's the thing I love about our team is it can be a different guy on different nights, and Julian's an important part of this basketball team and basketball program. So he's fighting through a lot of pain right now. He's fighting through, an injury that's not easy, but he's showing great toughness and great resilience. So, I'm trying to show patience with him. I want him to show patience with himself, and he knows he can play better than he played tonight, and he will. There's no doubt in my mind.
Ted, they shot 55% in the first half, but
Yeah.
only 41 in the second half. Were you more pleased with the defense and
Yeah.
what we've seen in recent weeks?
I think we did it. We talked against Oregon about guarding the ball, because in the first half, man, they drove it a few times, and they put their heads down and go. They got some good athletes and good players. They've got great shooters in that team. They were shooting 41% as a team from 3 coming into this game in league play. So we really talked about just if they drive it and make it tough too, we'll live with it. But we got to take away threes from shooters. I thought we let the guys get loose a little bit, sometimes ball watching. They had 8 for the night. 6 is our number or less, but I was pleased with the defensive effort in pretty much the whole game, except for a few lapses. And it's those lapses we got to get rid of, where they earn everything they get. We don't give them anything. Shellstead's 3 at the end of the first half was a lapse. Had a couple in the second half that were lapses. We got to get rid of those. But other than that, I thought we were pretty darn good, and we forced 8 turnovers. We want to be more aggressive. I looked at the same numbers you did, Pat, at halftime, and wasn't too happy with their percentage. But we got a pretty good lead, and we forced 8 turnovers. So sometimes you got to take the good with the bad.
Going back to Javon Hadley, it seems like he's getting more comfortable from behind the 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
How big is that for the offense?
It's big, yeah. And the thing I love about Javon, he doesn't hunt him. He takes him in rhythm. He made the one, and he took the second one, which was a wide open look, kind of a heat check thing, which I got no problem with. When he's open, I want him to let it fly. He doesn't need to hunt him, and he doesn't hunt him. But when he's open and he knocks a few down, It just gives us a whole new dimension to our team because, tonight was one of those nights where, like, Eddie was in foul trouble. Obviously, it wasn't the normal Eddie that we normally see, offensively. And Javon Hadley's got a good low post game. Tristan DeSilva's got a good low post game. Luke O'Brien was 5 for 5 inside the arc tonight. So we got guys other than just Eddie that can play down low and score around the basket. And but Javon Hadley, when he's a true inside and outside threat, makes him really hard to guard. Because now it opens up his ability to handle the ball and put it on the floor and drive. And we ran a couple ISO plays for him out of timeouts tonight. He did a great job, in those. And again, important piece of this team is Javon Hadley.
Tad, we've talked a lot about how you're not always getting the same performance half to half in games. Mm-hmm. It looked like it was going that way to start the second half, but I think you guys closed the last 11 and a half in like a 35-12 run. How encouraging was that to see that the way you guys closed it?
It was big. Like I said, that shows the resiliency, the competitiveness. And when I say bow our backs, that's what I mean. We let Oregon back in the game. And Oregon's a good team. They got good players. Again, they're well coached. If you make mistakes, Oregon's going to make you pay. Whether that's, guarding the post inside with Dante, whether that's hitting threes, whatever. So the key with Oregon is you just got to be rock solid and don't make mistakes. Make them make tough shots. And I thought KJ's defense on Jackson Shellstead was terrific tonight. We did a great job on that kid. He's a good player. Cody had him a few times in the second half. Keyshawn Bartholomew's a good player. We know that. We had him here. Did a good job of him in the second half. So I was pleased with our defensive effort tonight and intensity. I still think we can be better, but it's a step in the right direction.
Coach, you mentioned Luke a couple of times. Seemed like he was much more impactful in the second half than the first. What was the difference between the first and second half?
I think just, it's nice when Luke comes in and he knows he's not coming out. And sometimes that's hard, when you're a guy coming off the bench. You come in and you give him a minute. Like in the first half, he came in, he didn't really get extended minutes. But in the second half, with Eddie getting his fourth foul, he knew we needed him to play. He actually, got tired. We needed to get him a blow, which doesn't happen a lot because his minutes aren't as long as they normally are. But, yeah, you need, when you have a guy in foul trouble, you need somebody off your bench to come in and give you that lift. And tonight it was Luke O'Brien. So tomorrow or Saturday it might be Julian Hammond. It might be Hassan Diop. It might be BD. Who knows who it'll be. Ruff, I put Ruff in a really difficult position at the end of the first half. He hadn't played all half, and I put him in with like 2 minutes to go. And so that's not always his fault as much mine as anything. So, but we're going to need different guys on different nights, even from our bench, when we have foul trouble or, knock on wood, an injury.
They didn't turn the ball over a ton tonight, but you guys were really efficient. Turning those into buckets, 24 points on 13 turnovers.
Yeah.
How are you guys able to kind of flip a lot of those into points?
Well, I think, when you get live ball turnovers and you can, especially if they're at the free throw line or above, you can get out and go. KJ had a couple, and, we'd have had 26 if I let him go in and, dunk that last one. But I thought, again, that activity, we forced 8 turnovers in the first half. I'm sure that's something that, Coach Altman talked to his team about, is they can't turn it over as much. It was 8-3 at halftime. And that's one area, as I looked at the numbers today, where Oregon has been much better than their opponents is their turnover margin, something we have not been great at this year, our turnover margin. We got to turn it over less than the team we're playing turns it over, and that has to happen with our defensive aggression and dictating. And so when we are that way, like we were against USC in the second half, we can be pretty explosive offensively because sometimes good defense turns into good offense.
Coach, you've talked about the slow start to the second half before the big run. Tristan seemed to be at the forefront of kind of both of those things with the slow start. Can you talk about his resiliency and his role as a leader on this team?
Yeah, Tristan was frustrated. Obviously, he didn't play his best coming out at halftime. I think he had 3 of our 4 turnovers out of the shoot. So, but what I like about Tristan is he knows when he's good, he knows when he's not good, and he had a couple really good looks on out of bounds underplays, and he missed both of them. But then like 2 plays later, he got a wide open 3 in the corner, didn't hesitate, and he knocked it down. So, like his resiliency, his maturity, his belief in himself and his teammates is pretty special. He's very important to this team, as just like many guys are. But he showed why he's a senior, why he's a leader, because he knocked that thing down. And he didn't let the mental part of the game, his frustrations, hurt us, even though his turnovers were hurting us. And he was as frustrated as anybody on that. But, we were plus 19 with Tristan in the game. That shows you how important the kid is to us.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Cody's offensive night, but this is the third
Yeah.
straight game that he had 2 blocks.
Yep.
How impressive is his defensive positioning, and then obviously using his length
Yeah.
to defect shots?
Absolutely. Cody's a really good defender because he's so long. He's got long arms. He's got good feet. He does a great job of keeping the ball in front of him. And when guys do get downhill, he shows his hands, and he just makes it, he's tough to score over because he's so darn long. And, if he gets a block shot, great. I don't talk about block shots. If they come, they come. What I want to do is just make it be a tough 2. But we talked to Cody, and I think one of the reasons he came here is he knew that we were going to expect him to be a big-time defender on the perimeter. We were going to push him there. We were going to try to coach him, up. And the thing I love about Cody is he's a willing defender. So many good players, especially offensive players. He's a good offensive player. We all know that. He showed that tonight. Always has been his whole life. Very few of those guys really want to dig in on the defensive end. Cody does. KJ does. So to have 2 guys, in your backcourt that can guard guys like Kusnard and Shellstad and Rigsby allows you to beat a team like Oregon because they're their defensive presence. And Cody's got it.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you.
All right.